What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Show Out TV, and I'm back with a very, very special episode today. Thank you all for tuning in with me today. I got a very special episode that I will be breaking down the interview. Shout out to the Soft White UnderBelly. This is their video, and they did an awesome job with the interview with Miss Izzy. She was a recovering addict that had a very interesting story, man, and I am rooting for her. I'm batting for you, Izzy. Continue your sobriety, continue your recovery. I'm on your side. But I will break down her interview. She went through a lot of things, from parents' abandonment to sex working, drugs of all kinds. She got a very interesting story that I think will inspire those in addiction. But let me get into it to myself. I am Mr. Show Out TV. I will be your host for today. This is my podcast, the Sober Gang Podcast, where we try to inspire and motivate those in addiction. That's what we try to do. I have guest speakers who come on my show and they share their stories. So we try to motivate others in addiction. That is what we're about, and that is what I stand for on my show, Mr. Show Out TV, Sober Gang Podcast, everybody. I got a very, very interesting show today. So I need y'all to stick around to the end, because this gets greater later. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Are y'all ready to get into the video? Let's go.
Audio for the land.
I love that intro. Man, y'all rock with Mr. Show Out TV, Sober Gang Podcast. And I will be doing the commentary about the Izzy interview she did with the Soft White UnderBelly. Salute to Soft White UnderBelly Podcast for this very, very great interview you guys did. But I will break down her interview in this episode today. Then this is your first time to the channel right now, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. That subscribe button is free. I got over 100 very good episodes for you guys to go watch right after this broadcast. I'm trying to motivate. I'm trying to inspire those in addiction. That's what we stand for over here on the Sober Gang Podcast. And when I say Sober Gang, we are not affiliated with any kind of organization, any kind of gang at all. That is just my way of saying that we got an army that is growing like a gang. You know what I mean? So it's a Sober Gang army over here. So let's get into the video, everybody.
I've been so fucking sad. Like to the point where I didn't want to feel it anymore. I've had 3 different suicide attempts. I've been slitting my wrists for 10 years. I just don't want to feel that way anymore. So that's why when I tell my story, I don't want to bring up how I've OD'd 10, 13 times. I don't want to get into the depths of me hanging myself or trying to drown myself, because I think the most important part is to just giving background of where I came from so that you can see why I became a drug addict. And then on top of that, seeing that people do make it out. It's not like that forever. And I'm just glad that I made it out when I did and realized that I can be happy and I deserve to be happy.
And that's another thing, everybody. When we in our addiction, that's one thing that I really wish we can get over. I really wish we can get over the fact that sometimes we be too scared to tell people what we are going through. Sometimes we don't really even know how to express our opinions. Sometimes we don't really know how to express what's really hurting us on the inside. That was keep us trapped a lot of times. I know for me, I really just didn't know how to tell anybody that I really was suffering on the inside. I just wanted to play it off and continue to go to work, go to work and just do the everyday thing. But deep down inside, it was really bothering me. So key fact for the day, everybody, just please make sure that if something is bothering you and you're going through something mentally, physically, Let it be known, an addiction. Let it be known, because it's a stigma in our community worldwide that we think it's something bad to say that we can go get help. We need counseling. We need therapy. We think that's something bad. It make us look bad, but it doesn't. Anybody. Let's go. Let's continue.
Because all that shit that happens is just the outcome of actions. And if I make better actions now, then I know the outcome's going to be far better than how it used to be. And I have faith in that.
All right. Izzy, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Salem, Massachusetts, and I ended up in Rhode Island. So most of my childhood was on the East Coast.
And how was your family?
It was a weird setup. My mom and dad, my dad met my mom in the strip club before I was born, like 1997. And I don't know, my mom says that like I was wanted, but she was with him for a few months, and he ended up leaving around when I was born because my mom stabbed him. And he just, I don't know, I talked to him about it, and he told me that he was just going to let God work it out, and I'll eventually find him. So I grew up with my mom. She was a sex worker for most of my childhood. It was like a weird situation. She was very evil, I would say. I was getting abused since I was like 6 years old physically. My first grade picture, I had a black eye and she covered it with makeup.
As we can clearly see, growing up, she really had a difficult childhood. As you can see that she said that her mom was a sex worker herself. So she really had all the odds stacked against her from the get-go. For her to make it out of this alive will be, the will of her being strong. You can tell from the get-go that her upbringing, everything was stacked against her already. So she got a long road ahead. So let's continue, everybody.
Up that day. I just got in trouble for a lot of things that like I didn't understand. I don't know how it conspired, but I was a very sexual kid. I can't recall. I don't think anything ever happened to me sexually, but I started having a porn addiction at around 6 or 7 years old. I was obsessed.
I wanted to make this clear too. With the internet and everything being right in our hands, and especially for the kids. Now I'm speaking because I'm 39 years old, everybody, and the internet was there, but it wasn't twerking like it is now. Yeah, everybody know what I'm saying? It wasn't. Right now, the kids, the younger kids, got availability to porn at the drop of a dime. Your kid, your child, or somebody young can just go to the bathroom and close the door and open some porn within seconds. That's that dopamine hit them soon as they open up their porn, and it messes with their brain. We got kids these days that is struggling with their identity and everything because this porn that they are consuming on a daily basis is bananas, everybody. And this also will have you thinking, misjudging a lot of things about life, because that porn that you are watching is not reality. That is not reality. No, a lot of people do not live like that. Do not just does that the practice the things that they see on them porn every day. So it kind of warps their mind, and it can lead them down a dark path as well. So yeah, let's continue, everybody.
Obsessed with like women specifically. I don't know if it was the hyper femininity from my mom, or like because she was always like the sexy mom. I don't know what it was, but I remember in kindergarten I had a girlfriend, and we used to like make out in the bathroom stalls and like get naked. I've always just been like addicted to women and sex as a whole.
And you can see that with her parents really just not being in her life, that she had to find an outlet. She really just was confused as a young girl. You could see that she said that she had passion and interest in women, which is okay, which is not wrong. I am not saying that. I'm not saying that. But she was confused because her mother really wasn't leading her, wasn't guiding her, wasn't giving her the right tools to be successful. So she really had to find it on her own. You can really see that right now she is struggling as a young person through this story. She's telling us from a young person through this story and everything that she went through. So we will continue to get into it.
Around like 12 was when I started webcamming, and it was just like weird for me because it wasn't something that my mom ever talked to me about. I just, when I was getting like phones and stuff, I would be looking up pictures of naked girls, like masturbating all the time on webcam until they would like kick me off servers. So I was just always really comfortable with sex and myself. I remember when I was 12, my mom ended up like getting engaged to this rich dude, and we moved in with him to Rhode Island. That's when I ended up leaving Salem, and that kind of like changed my whole entire life. I wasn't around my friends anymore. I was sexually super confused. I liked guys and girls, but I still had that like infatuation with women, and I didn't really know how to express that because as I got older, I was bullied a lot, so I really wasn't able to have that connection like I was when I was younger, and we don't really think about like judging kids and people. I was self-harming when I moved, and that's when I started getting really alternative and into like metal music. I did want friends, but everything I did made me very unapproachable. So I kind of like singled myself out.
And you can also see that she is dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression when it comes to her friends. Um, she was really just lost. She was just really trying to find herself. And like I said, with her parents just really just not being there, and now she got to move, and now she got to figure out how to make friends and try to fit in. That also can lead you to depression as well. You're also thinking that do these people like me? So now you got to be extra friendly to try to fit in, and that can, at a young age, that can drain you. That can drain a lot of energy out of you because you're fighting to fit in, to be with the new people. And what if they don't like you? So now you distance yourself. So now you're a loner, and so yeah, she got a long road to climb, but I'm rooting for you, Izzy. We're gonna continue this though. Let's go, y'all.
And didn't really understand why people didn't like me because I love people. I I fall in love with like everybody I meet. And I started smoking weed and drinking when I got there. I used to like drink cough syrup out of like the cabinet when I was younger, but I wasn't like always looking for that high because I was getting the feelings I needed from like the sex kind of stuff. Um, Anything that just makes me feel super in love, just I love that shit. And I was running away a lot when I was in Rhode Island. I remember my mom was in jail for a little bit, so I was alone with this dude. I don't recall him ever being like creepy or weird with me, but it was just awkward because I didn't really know him, and she just had me move in with this dude into a whole nother state. So I was just always, finding older friends that I could go hang out with. And when my mom got back from jail, that's when the abuse started happening again. I mean, constant physical fights. The police knew.
And see, once again, everybody, because of her parents just not being in her life, really not raising her to be a young woman, a mature young woman, a decent young woman, she really just had to learn everything on her damn own. Let's just be honest right now. She just really just out here trying to figure life out as she goes. Really, there's no dad. Her mom really is not there. So you got this one young lady trying to figure out life, being moved from state to state, having to learn how to deal with her her sex, her identity, sex wise, and who she like, women or men. So right there, she had a crossroads with her own mind. She battling the demons like, who do I want to like, men or women? Why is my mom not here? Why don't I have parents? Why don't I have a decent home? Why am I constantly moving? Why am I constantly fighting with my mom? And these can all lead to drug addiction. This can all lead to you finding something that you like, you seeking a new love. And drugs and addiction will make you feel good for that one moment. But let's get into it, everybody. She's still going.
Knew me so well, just as the girl that was always getting in fights with her mom. She quit doing sex work around a little bit after we moved to Rhode Island, but I do remember her still going to the clubs and stuff. I always viewed her little fiance dude as a trick. Now that I'm a little bit older, I mean, I don't really see what there was to love about that whole situation. I remember one time
but you can honestly see that she is kind of falling down the same path as her mom. You know, she see what her mom doing, and she knows what her mom is doing, sex working. So a lot of young ladies, whether they like their mom or not, they image their mom. They see what their mom doing, and some of them, well, okay, if mom doing it, well, it's okay for me to do it. And her mom got her around pimps, got her around older men that really do not need to be around her as a young age, because she already battling with enough. These men, these dudes introducing her to can really affect her in the wrong way. Let's continue, everybody.
Like how they broke up was he got really drunk and was standing over my bed naked, and I don't recall anything happening, but she just didn't need that in my life. So he ended up like kicking us out and all this shit. It was just like a mess. At around 13, 14 was when I started running away a lot. I had gotten in contact with my dad, but he was still far away. He definitely loved me. It was like he was waiting for me to eventually like reach out. She found him on Facebook and said, your daughter wants to talk to her. So he was like in my life kind of, but he was in Colorado at the time. So I remember on one of my little runaway stints. Now, when I ran away, since I'm like from small cities, I always gravitated towards big ones because I'm like, I can't do anything out here. There's nothing to fucking do. And everybody knows me at this point. Like
So you can honestly see that she is really just searching everybody. She's just searching for somebody to just grab her and be like, I love you. This is home. She never had that. The odds were stacked against her from the get-go. She is jumping from state to state, no parents in her life. She's trying to figure out life. She's running away. And this is a concoction for any little pimp, a drug dealer, or anybody to get in her head and manipulate her into doing anything at this moment in her life. Because she doesn't have anybody that's guiding her in the right path. So it's easy for her to just fall victim to a little bit of anything, trying a little bit of anything, doing a little bit of anything. Yeah, let's continue.
I'm normally like the one mixed girl. I'm Iranian and Puerto Rican. So like I was always like the one brown kid in most situations, and kind of hard to forget. So I remember like taking buses to Providence, to take a train to Boston, to take another train to New York. And yeah, I would just disappear. I would let my mom know, hey, I'm leaving, throw my SIM card out, and I would just be out on the streets, and I'd just come back when I came back. Each time was a little different. I used my body to get around places. I'd lie about my age, but people knew who when you're 14, you can't really pass for much than 14. I got a boob job right now. Like, I was flat chested. I had a baby face. So, I mean, but it didn't really bother me. My mom supported me like that, like just being hot. So I figured as long as I look good, I was the one girl on the streets. I'd have my straightener, my makeup.
And that's, we got a lot of young ladies. It's a lot of that going on in this world right now, y'all. Let's just face it. You know what I mean? We got that going on everywhere, where the mom is really just not a mom. She's more like a sister. You know what I'm saying? It's just more like they friends. And she looking at her daughter, well, my daughter is hot. Look, as long as my daughter is hot, she can make it through life. She can get some job, some done that can move her around and get her a car. But we have that a lot in this society. And will that stop? I don't know. I don't know. It's not the stopping part. It's the parents got to take accountability for raising the kids. That's point blank. That's is what it is, everybody. And are we all perfect? No. Ain't nobody perfect. No parents will ever be perfect. I'm quite sure that she loved her daughter. Her mother loved her. Her mama probably just wasn't all there together. Probably the same thing. Her mama probably was raised like that as well. So it's going down to the generation. You understand? I mean, it's a trickling down effect. You know what I mean? So she just really just right now, she is going through the motions in life. You can tell she confused. And like I said, at this moment right now, anybody can jump in her life and just confuse her even more by telling her she look good and telling her they want to be with her. She'll fall victim to that. And then they can just be like, you know what? Hey, try this. Try this dope. Try this crack. Try this meth. And for that love, she would try that. And then next thing you know, you hooked. You are addict. You walking the streets. You selling your body. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Let's continue.
Like a bunch of hoochie mama outfits, and it worked. I definitely, I was okay. I was on the streets a lot, but I'd always find a way to get into someone's apartment and have a place to stay for a little bit, and until I got tired of the runs, and then I'd just come back home. And I don't know, my mom stopped really worrying about me. I was, whenever there was like a report for me missing, it wasn't because she reported it. She knew I'd always end up back home, and there was nothing she could really do about it. And then when I was like 15, just turning 16, I met this dude who was like 10 years older than me, and I was in love with him. I ended up.
And I just said that, everybody. She said when she was 16, she met a man that was 26, 10 years older than her. I had just said that. And what come out of her mouth after that? Y'all can rewind it yourself. She said she fell in love with him because that man knew exactly what he was doing. He was manipulating her at a young age. He knew that she was going through a lot. She wasn't all there. She knew that she was an abandoned young child that needed guidance. He used all of that to manipulate her. And she fell in love with him because it doesn't take much when a kid that is going through a lot of things in life doesn't have his parents there just searching to try to find themselves for a older person to get in and take advantage of that person. And from there, you become trapped. She think that's love because right now he's probably gonna be the only person that shows her a little bit of love because her mom's not, her dad's not.
Moving into his apartment pretty quickly. His friends knew how old I was. I used to brag. I'd be like, I just turned 16. Like that was like any better being with somebody who was like 25, 26. So he took care of me. And like I said, I'm a lover. And my idea of loving someone is being able to provide for them. And I wasn't really able to do that at the time. I had fucked up school. I never went. And so it was hard for me to get jobs and such. So I started posting ads. I mean, on the streets, it was different when you're just like meeting up with people, but this is when I started putting myself out there. I was doing pet play where you, to my knowledge, when I was a teen, I got into it because it was cute. You wear little cat ears and like butt plugs and you pretend you're a cat. Now I'm like a big anime fan. So I didn't see the problem with this and I didn't understand the underlying kink behind it. At this time I was drinking and I was doing like smoking weed. But I really wasn't into like heavy drugs like that. And he didn't know what I was doing. I would just say I'm gone and come back the next day with money. And I wouldn't really like, I honestly don't even remember my excuses for it. I had money and I don't know. Now, when I started, my first thing with meth was when I was seeing this dude. He was very rich and I knew his name because he was like kind of a high profile client, as they would call them. And I remember walking into this big ass house and I felt safe because I'm like, well, somebody with a name and with that has this kind of publicity, like they can't really afford to fuck me over. And I wasn't really ever scared of people. I mean, as long as I got paid and I didn't get like physically hurt, it really didn't bother me what was going on. And I remember this cute dog and I was like petting him while we were talking for a little bit and I was getting dressed. And then he told me that he likes to use meth to have fun. And I was like, okay, whatever. I guess I've just always been adventurous. I was always one of those kids that would say, yeah, I'll try any drug. So I just did.
And you see exactly what I said, everybody. See, look, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a doctor. I don't know all this shit in this world. I'm not trying to solidify myself as somebody who know it all. I'm trying to figure out life myself. I'm a recovering alcoholic who has turned my life around. Yeah, that is basically what it is. So I'm not judging her by a long shot. Everybody, do not get this twisted. Do not think that this is a judging video. I'm simply showing this video in efforts to try to bring awareness to other young ladies out there that is probably going through the same situation. Because when I first watched this Izzy video, it really touched me in a way. Because I know it's a lot of young ladies out there that is going through the same situations that she is going through. So I really just wanted to bring awareness to the situation. I'm not judging her by a long shot because I know exactly what she's been going down, especially with the addiction part of her story. So I understand that as well. That is why I created this channel, everybody. That is what I want to do. I want to motivate and inspire others in addiction. That is what Mr. Show Out Sober Gang podcast is all about. So I'm just really just trying to break down her story and try to just share my commentary and my opinions on everything. But back to what she was saying. She was saying that she got up with this older man once again. And he had a lot of money. See, that's all it takes, ladies out there. Now listen, that's all it takes for a young woman that is confused and doing drugs to meet an older man with money. She feel like, okay, this is the answer to all my questions. Maybe everything will go away. He got money. I'm good. I just give him a little sex, and I'm good. Mind you, that the age difference is kind of sketchy. But you can see in this interview, she get with this older man and he gonna lead her down to a dark road. Let's continue.
Did it. And he put me in this little cage. And that was normal in a pet play scenario, like cage bowl things, being on 4 knees, crawling around. But then he had his dog go in the cage with me. And I remember I went in on a Tuesday and he would just keep giving me meth and having his dog rape me. And like, it's not something I really enjoyed, but when you're spun the fuck out, you don't really, I was grateful for it, you know? I was grateful for the meth because whatever mind state I was in or what I was feeling was probably better than being sober. So he let me out after like a little over.
So basically, everybody, as long as she was high. So at this moment, she is falling victim to addiction. She's there now. This man has gave her meth for the first time, and he kept her chained up with a dog on the inside, chained up like a dog with his dog there, raping her. I mean, you can't excuse me, you two, for saying that hard word, but doing things to her that the human mind can imagine. Um, like I said, everybody, this video is for educational purposes only. I am really just trying to bring awareness to young women out there that is probably going through the same situation. Um, but you can see that when this man gave her that one hit of meth, she was hooked. She was in that cage for, I forgot how many, some amount of days high. And all these bad things that are going on with her inside that cage is unimaginable. So Izzy, I'm rooting for you, Izzy. Continue, baby girl, on your road to recovery. Let's continue with her story.
Over 3-4 days. I remember he said I work on the weekends, and he gave me like, you know, like $4,000 or something. And I didn't even want to put up a fight. I mean, I was glad I was out. Looking back, I should have demanded way more money. I should have done something. I could have taken the money and I could have still reported him, but like, I did not give a fuck. I just wanted to leave. And then that's when I remember going back to that boyfriend's house and he caught me. He like looked through my phone. I remember I brought back coffee and I kissed him and I was like, hey, I'm back. And I left to go shower and he looked through my phone and he saw all my ads. And that's when he told my mom and he told like the whole town that I was a hooker. It was weird. I ended up going back to my mom's house and she had the pictures of the ads and she didn't even say anything. This is the woman who beat my ass for not cleaning my room, beat my ass for not coming home on time, beat my ass for anything, me having an attitude. And she just kind of like shrugged.
Now, I can say this as a parent myself, young lady, your mama was showing you that she loved you when she did those things. Because some kids out there, I'm not saying abuse kids or anything like that. But what I'm saying is she was showing you that she loved you by you can't be smart enough to your mom. By you should want to clean your room up. These are all parental things that parents tell their kids to do. So that is really nothing wrong with that, Miss Izzy. I mean, I'm sure that millions of kids around this world right now have parents that does that. So in this interview right there, I can honestly say I disagree with her on that part. But like I said, y'all, deep down I know her mother loved her. You know what I mean? So I'm not bashing her mother either. This is an interesting story, you know, because I know this can relate to a lot of people in this world. But yeah, let's continue. Everybody.
She's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. So like there was this thing in my head that like it was okay. It was okay. I was a sex worker. And part of me maybe even felt like, you know, I followed in mom's footsteps. Maybe that's why she doesn't, you know, how the fuck can you blame me? I saw how she provided for me. So that's how I provided for myself and people that I loved. from there, my childhood gets a little splotchy. I ran away a million times after that, living in crack houses, and I did eventually run away to my dad's place in Colorado. He tried to get me into school over there, but this is the man I've been dying to live with him. I've been wanting to be in his life so bad, and I finally get the fucking opportunity to, and I ran away because he felt more like a friend and not a father. I never even had a father to know like how one is supposed to be. He was supportive. He didn't care about like anything going on, like what I did. He just was glad I was in his life, and I ran away to go be on the streets. No, I remember skipping school and him riding his bike around my school and finding me like smoking fucking K2 that we got from the gas station. Just liked being high. And yeah, sex work just was the thing I did. I didn't even, I don't know where the correlation between me being a sex worker and and my sex addiction really connects, because sex work always felt like a job, and it was.
And you can honestly see that now she has really transformed to an addict. She is really prostituting now. She is comfortable with it. That is just what goes on, everybody. I really feel sorry for the whole situation for her, but this is a learning lesson. This is like a very teachable learning lesson to a lot of people that is going through this. Y'all don't mind the railroad. But this is a very teachable moment that is going on, everybody. And like I said, to a lot of young ladies out there in this world, hell, to grown women too that is going through this situation. Izzy is really sharing a lot of insight on what is going on in the cities, around this world, everybody. But Izzy continued to fight this and everything like that, everybody. She got a very uplifting story at the end, so y'all stick around. It only gets better.
Wasn't really something I enjoyed like that, but I didn't really have a problem with it either. Drugs helped that a lot. I got into meth pretty heavy in my teen years because it's just, I correlated it with safety. I felt safe. You could do anything to me, and I was good. So that was like my childhood, I guess. Lots of drugs and sex and street life.
The drug use continued?
Yeah. I was never really physically addicted to anything. I mean, I remember when I was younger, they would say, like, don't try meth even once. Like, you get addicted, and they'd show these horrible pictures of people, like, after a few months of use. But I would go on, like, binges, and then I would just drop it. I mean, it was really hard for a teenager to get meth. It's like, I don't know, maybe it was just where I was looking, but
as being an abandoned young woman, parents really not there. She really just trying to figure out her identity, who she love, how to love herself. She feeling like don't nobody love her. She's searching for love in all the wrong places. It is very easy for her to just fall victim to drugs in any kind of form. See, that was her outlet. That was a way that was she found peace at. Being hot all day long, it would bring her to make her feel better. Everybody, you know what I mean? That what really made her feel better, because she just really just didn't have anybody there to just teach her anything else different. Her mom was a sex worker. Her dad wasn't even there, so she basically raised herself. And we got a lot of people out there. There's a lot of young men and a lot of young women out there that is basically doing the same exact thing, raising themselves and probably their sisters or brothers because their parents are not in the household. And that is a big problem that is going on right now. So let's continue with the story.
I kind of just did whatever, but I was never physically addicted to anything, but I did always need to be fucked up. When I was 18, that's when I got into porn, and they flew me out to Florida. And I had a rule. I would never get fucked up on camera because I didn't want people to see me like that. I know how embarrassing I am when I'm fucked up. So I would just do drugs and alcohol any time between. I mean, I was casually doing heroin, dropping it, doing something else, did a lot of coke. Molly, I fucking loved Molly. I would do that shit for weeks until I would get clean off of it, and then I'd have like such bad headaches I would fucking black out every once in a while. I don't know, it's just acid. Nothing major though. Yeah, so throughout porn and being with sugar daddies all the time, I was always fucked up. That's just how I lived my life: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I owned that shit. I always knew I had a problem using.
And one thing about Izzy, I really love everybody. She owned up to her shit, man. Izzy, I mean, regardless of everything she's been through, everybody, she owned up to her shit. You know what I mean? She stand on what she been through, and she not ashamed of it. And we need more people like her to just really speak out, because you got some people that really do not want to speak about some of these things that is going on. Izzy, you are really inspiring people. Keep up the great work. We need more and more people like Miss Izzy to stand up and speak on this subject, because whether you believe it or not, Izzy, somebody is out there watching this interview, and you probably would change their life. And you will probably change their life, Miss Izzy. So let's continue.
And when I started doing meth and heroin, it was regular. I did fentanyl here and there, but it was never really like that fucking bad. Like I would actually do it once and I'd be like, okay, that was cool. And then I would like kind of forget about it. It wasn't something I always seeked out, because I liked uppers. I didn't like feeling down and in my feelings and depressed. My fentanyl addiction started about 2 years ago when I met this dude, and the moment that I saw him, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to be with him. He was all tatted up, and I always like was with like emo boys, alternative boys. I never really, since I've been before LA, I wasn't really around gangbangers except for when I was in the streets in New York, and I fucking hated them. They were so mean, and I didn't really like the shit that they made me do, because I was like, you know, it was always just money based shit. If I wasn't helping make money, then it just wasn't it. And I wanted to be in love, so I remember meeting this dude, and he hit me up.
And you can honestly see, everybody, y'all can see. Now, I said this. I said that she was searching for love the whole time. She was searching for somebody to love her. Her daddy wasn't loving her. He wasn't there. She wasn't getting the love from her mom. Hell, she wasn't getting the love from nobody. Only thing she was getting the love from was the dope, was the high. She was just searching for somebody to just grab her and give her a damn hug. Hell, you know, she didn't have any family. You got this young girl that basically raising her damn self. She basically raising her damn self, everybody. And making mistakes along the way. Hell, anybody will make these type of mistakes if they doing this on their own at a young age. Anybody. So I do not fault Izzy. I do not fault this. But she was searching for love, man. She was searching for love. And she found it all in the wrong places. But she didn't know how to love. Ain't nobody taught her how to love. Her mom ain't teach her how to love. Her dad ain't taught her how to love. Yeah, let's continue.
After he saw me at a party, he said, when can I see you? And I said, I'm yours whenever you want me. And we hooked up the next day. He told me when we were fucking, I want to have a baby with you. I want you to, I want you to be my wife and all this shit. And I said, bet. I got you. He smoked 30s. And he always used to tell me, like, these are the real ones. We don't do fake shit. And I was like, okay, whatever. So, I don't know. We were smoking them, and I didn't really get the physical addiction too bad. And then he got locked up, and I lost my shit. I need to be with the person that I'm with, like, all the time. I need to be able to see you, like, whenever. So him being gone kind of just broke me down, and I started I just wanted to be closer to him some way, somehow. So I just started doing what he did and smoking 30s all the time. Now, I didn't have his plug. I didn't want to ask him for it. So I was doing fake pills, and I liked them more. I like those way more. I got way higher, and yeah, I ended up leaving and going to, this was when I was in Cali, and I ended up eventually leaving in the middle of him being in jail and going to Vegas. And then that's when I started getting like really good fucking fentanyl pills. And it was from there. I mean, I knew I was addicted. I'd be getting sick when I wasn't on them, but I couldn't stop. And this was the first time I was physically addicted to something. I didn't understand like withdrawals. I didn't. And then, yeah, when he got out, I had tried going to treatment last year, and I didn't last more than like 5 days. I was like, oh man, if I get high now, I can just stop after a day. And, you know, I've tried to get clean repeatedly over the past couple of years, but I couldn't do it. I always replaced it with some sort of substance. So I was getting pissed because in my addiction, I couldn't even get high off heroin. The fentanyl was way more stronger. So that's when I started binging on meth a lot, because it was just the complete opposite of a nod. Stay up for like days, weeks. At one point I was in psychosis. So I ended up omitting the drugs, like the meth, but my brain was so fucked up. I was going through psychosis for like 2-3 more months after I got off the meth, and I was prescribed pills for that. And it was a fucking mess. My mental health was already, I've had depression and anxiety. I was in mental hospitals as a teenager for cutting and stuff. And they were always putting me on pills that I never fucking.
Hey, you can't make this up, everybody. You cannot make this up. This is a very interesting story, man. You know, she went through the ringers, everybody. She went through the ringers, but she's still a fighter. Like I said, that's one thing I love about watching this interview, because you see that she is a warrior. This young lady, this little bitty lady is strong, everybody. She's strong in the heart, and she's a fighter. And that's what we gonna continue to do on Mr. Show Out TV. That is what I love to do, everybody. She is a fighter. Through all the battle, through all the hardship, through all the agony and pain, she continues to fight. She never gave up. Her mother not being there, her father not being there, the family not being there, being moved from state to state, trying all type of bit drugs, prostituting herself, going through all, you know, God knows what. But she's still a fighter, and she's still a warrior. Yes, sir. Let's keep going there, everybody.
Took. I always said they didn't fucking work, but and I believe that now. It's because my circumstances made me depressed and anxious, being on the streets, hating myself. I feel like my mom fucking hates me. So that's why this time around I'm not on meds. I feel a lot better. I learned how to work through things. I got actually clean. I'm 107 days clean. That's when I went into treatment. That was the last time I did anything. Went into a 30-day program and continued my treatment. It's different, you know. This is my first time in 10 years of addiction, being completely clean off everything, not taking any medications. It's a lot of fucking work. I do a 12-step program. I'm an intensive outpatient. I don't know what's working, so I don't want to stop anything, because I don't have another run in me. A lot of my friends kind of just, like, they knew me as a drug addict and they accepted me for that. But then when they saw how bad I was, they just kind of drifted off and never really told me why. And as somebody who like craves connection, that shit always just was the biggest mind fuck to me, because I thought I was a really good friend. I was like, my problems has nothing to do with you. Why I smoke and do all these things. But you know, it's a lot better now. I'm happy. I want to help other women. I really want to help like teen sex workers. I have nothing against sex work. There's some badass bitches that do that shit and they rock it. But I know there's girls like me who just kind of end up doing it, and you get so locked on that financial security and feeling like you're never going to make as much money as you do when you're selling pussy. And that's just, maybe that is the truth. I don't know. But I'm my happiest right now, making zero money, working on myself, working on the art and reading. Like I have so many things that I loved doing as a kid that I just stopped doing. So, you know, making fucking clothes. I want to provide those kind of opportunities for girls that are in my position. I care about all addicts, but I feel like when you have a background of sex work, it kind of gets stigmatized. I remember hearing somebody that saw me in treatment. They ended up saying about me, like, oh, she's going to end up right back on the streets. She made too much money. She's not going to want to work in treatment. And I laughed when I heard that. Like, if I cared about money, I'd still be doing that. I want peace of mind. I want to wake up and not be sick.
And once again, everybody, like I said, Izzy, girl, you a warrior. You's a warrior. You got a fan over here, and you got a supporter. If it's anything, Izzy, if you see my broadcast, please, if it's anything you need, please try to find a way to contact me. My email is showoutmedia, llc@mail.com. I will put it in the description box, Miss Izzy, for you. Like I said, if this is your first time to my channel right now, I am the host. I am Mr. Showout TV, and this is my Sober Game podcast, where we try to inspire and give hope to those battling addiction. And today, I have White Soft Belly interview with Miss Izzy. This is their video, so shout out and salute to Soft White UnderBelly for the footage and this very powerful episode they did with Miss Izzy. And what I am doing, I am breaking down the interview that she had, and I'm just trying to give the viewers a little feedback and my opinion of what's going on. So right now, if y'all out there rocking with me, I would love for you to hit that like button. Just go and hit that like button and subscribe if you ain't subscribed to the channel. But I would love your subscription. I would really appreciate your subscription. That'll keep me to motivate me to make even more videos, because I know that it's inspiring y'all, and I know y'all love my videos. So I could keep bringing y'all this great content that I love to do. Let's get back into it, everybody.
So I definitely just see myself working in treatment so that I can just pass along what I know now with all the knowledge I do, with no judgment, because sex workers are fucking amazing. The women who feel like, you know, all I need is me, like, that's some powerful shit. But I just think that there's so many better opportunities, and when drugs get wrapped into it, I know, at least for me, maybe if I was sober, I would have been so uncomfortable in the situation, like all the situations that I have been in, I wouldn't have even continued doing it as long as I have. I mean, nobody wakes up and says, I want to be a sex worker at 15 years old. It was a combination of a sex addiction, feeling like I wasn't wanted, not even wanting to be home, and I need to provide for myself somehow. Like, there's always some underlying thing with these things that we do that we don't understand why at first. So I don't know, just taking it one day.
So there you have it, everybody. Man, I really enjoyed that interview. Miss Izzy, she was a powerful person, everybody. And like I said, it's always she said it herself, it's an underlining thing that why they are doing what they're doing. She was in love from the get-go. She had all of the odds stacked against her. Her parents wasn't there. It's always something. But she still made it out. And y'all can go check out the full interview on White Underbelly on their YouTube channel, the White Underbelly, the Soft White Underbelly podcast. You can go watch the full interview. I think hey, it was a powerful interview, everybody. Like I said, Miss Izzy, if you watch this if you watch this episode right here, please get in contact with me, because I would love to interview you as well. I think you're a very special person. I think your voice needs to be heard, and I think you got a lot to say. And continue your road to recovery, because I know everybody is rooting for you to win. I am rooting for you to win. I'm betting for you anytime. Just give me a holler, give me a call. I hope you all enjoyed this special episode I had today. And one thing we will do on my channel, we will continue to try to inspire you all and try to motivate those in addiction to never give up. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. But I got a lot to say, because I've been there and I've done it. Hey, this is Mr. Showout TV, Sober Game Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in today. And like I said, make sure you hit that like button before you walk on up out of here. Hit that like button and get that subscription. Go on, get that subscription. It will not hurt you. But thank you everybody for tuning in with me today. Hey, shout out to Soft White UnderBelly for the video. Hey, this is Mr. Show Out TV, Sober Game Podcast.
Welcome to Mr. Show Out TV Recovery and Addiction YouTube channel, where we hope to inspire those battling addiction. Please subscribe and like the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell to get notified whenever we broadcast. Thank you and enjoy the show. To support the channel, you can send donations to Cash App $Mr. Show Out TV. So please don't wait, subscribe now. Together we can help and give inspiration to millions of people.
What's up, everyone? It's Mr. Show Out TV, and thank you for choosing my channel to come to for great content about addiction and recovery-related topics. Let's continue to inspire those in addiction. Let's continue to make a difference. Let's continue to subscribe, everyone. Continue to subscribe. Continue to hit them like button. Let's get these likes up. And continue also, remind yourself to hit the notification bell. So when anytime I go live, you will be notified. Let's continue to inspire those in addiction. Thank you so much for choosing my platform to come to for great content. Continue to watch my videos and continue to share the message. Mr. Show Out TV.